Hey guys, welcome back to Super Switch U. Today we've got a couple of pieces of news that's happened over the last couple of days, and something that I just really didn't think I'd be doing again, but gripe about keycards. So stick with me today. We'll get right into that. But before we really start, let's if you haven't hit the subscribe button, if you could hit that real quick, that'd be great. Because we really want to get to 1,000 subscribers. So to jump into the little piece of news before the big keycard thing. There's a Nintendo Direct tomorrow for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Probably just, finally giving us a trailer that actually shows the movie itself, maybe going over some more cast that wasn't revealed before. But we already have the release date, so there's not a ton of things they could talk about, just maybe some little spoilers here and there. So, I don't know. I don't got a lot of opinion on it. I mean, I'm excited for the movie, and I will definitely watch it. Probably when it comes to video, because it's hard to go to the theater with two kids, one of them just now being 2 and the other one being 3 months in a week. So, yeah. I probably won't get the theater experience on this one like I did the first one, but it's okay. All right. Yeah, skim through that real quick. But so with that out of the way, right, we'll talk about the Direct when it actually happens. Now we can talk about the fact that Nintendo has put up 2 pieces of information today that is a really bad direction for them to go in. And that is it's the fact that Pokopia has a release date now, March 5th. So, there's that. And pre-orders for that digitally go up tomorrow on November 12th. The other piece was something that should have been completely unrelated, but then turned into something maybe very related to Pokopia. They put up a video showing what a game key card is, because apparently they think that we might actually be a little bit slow on the uptake. They're like, oh, well, they're not buying key cards because they don't know what key cards are. But no, if you follow my channel at all, you know that we know what a key card is. We know the upsides, we know the downsides, we know all the things in between. So we don't need to know what a key card is. But in doing this, in their little demonstrations, right, showed a key, like a game card, regular game card for Donkey Kong Bonanza. And then when they showed the key card, instead of it being a blank like they've used in demonstrations before, because this isn't the first time they've demonstrated this, they showed Pokopia as a game key card. Now, granted, it's a sample across the art, so maybe it's not true. Maybe they're just using an example for a game that they don't know what it's going to be. This close to March 5th, though, which is the release, I don't know. I feel like they would have already known, and they've probably started production, which is a bad sign. Because not only did they show the key card with the actual little key in the corner, they showed box art. Granted, again, it said sample across the top, and it's like the most generic thing that's circled around the internet forever. But it does also say game key card right across the bottom. And that was not the news I wanted this morning. I was excited when they said the release date. I was like, okay, sure. Now we'll finally find out if it's going to be a physical release, if I'm going to buy this thing and start making my decisions. And then that happened. So I guess let's talk about that, right? For the implications of this, why they might be doing this, and how much I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So my thoughts as far as why they're doing it is they're testing the waters again. Even though they've put out multiple surveys to ask people, do they know what a key card is? Do they like key cards? Do they support key cards? Does it make a difference in their opinion in buying a game? And I feel like most of us that support true physical or who are all digital basically put out their opinion that no, key cards really have nothing to do with either side of this thing. But that wasn't enough for them. So they have to test it with the game, right? And what is one of their most popular franchises that's not Mario? Because if they do Mario with that, there's probably going to be rioting in the streets. So what's the game they could get away with? Not a mainline Pokemon, but a side Pokemon. Because it's got the Pokemon name on it. It's going to have the fan base at least somewhat excited for the game already. So Pokopia would make sense to test it. Kind of like on Switch 1, they tested $70 games with Tears of the Kingdom. And everybody bought it, even though it was $10 more. And they complained, but they bought it, right? Mario Kart World, same thing. If you look at those sales numbers, it sold almost a single copy for every Switch 2 sold. So like 9+ million copies of Mario Kart World being an $80 game. People complain about it, people are buying it. So has succeeded. So what's the next thing to test? Well, third parties are having an issue selling key cards or just games in general. So they need to see why that's happening. So make a key card of their own and they can use it as an example and etc. However, I guess technically, if you really want to think about it, Pokemon isn't really first party. As connected to Nintendo as it is, it's Game Freak and Pokemon Company's game. And I think it's just contractual obligation there, or second party, whatever, that keeps Pokemon exclusive to Nintendo. So technically, Game Freak can do whatever they want. And Pokopia is also partially developed by Tecmo Koei, another third-party company, and everything of their own they've done game keycard. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment was the only exception there. Tecmo Koei and Nintendo came together to make that game, and they made it as a full physical cartridge. So, because of that, and because Dynasty Warriors Origins, or whatever it is that they're putting out next year, are completely opposite from each other. One's true physical, and one is keycard. Pokopia could have went either way. To be fair, I was expecting Pokopia to just be an all-digital game, not even big enough to be a retail release. Apparently, I was wrong. So now we have to talk about the fact that it's a key card. So yeah, this is upsetting. This is sickening to have to talk about this. To talk about Pokemon being the first game to be a Nintendo IP of some sort being a game key card. It feels wrong. It feels so very wrong. Now, as far as my own opinions for the game, I was already on the fence about buying this thing, right? Because it's Animal Crossing-like game with Pokemon, and there's a ton of those, and I like Animal Crossing. I do. I don't get into those types of games enough to play all the different releases, and we've got quite a few on Switch 2 already. We've got Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma that has that mixed with RPG action elements. And I like that game. I do. My wife actually likes it more than I do, and she's almost beat it, I think. I need to get back on there and do more with it. But you've got that one. You've got Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, Fantasy Life I feel like I'm going to miss something. I don't know, but that's 3 already. And then you're talking about this thing releasing in March. You're going to have Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch 2 Edition also on there. So that's number 4, and so this is the 5th one in that. So I'm already burnt out. It hasn't even been a year of Switch 2. I'm burnt out on one specific genre. And if it, if the racing thing keeps going on, because Mario Kart World, Kirby Air Riders, Sonic Racing Crossworlds. I swear I can talk. So you did 3 of those within a year. So I'm about to be burnt out on that too. There's a lot of genres that are missing, and we need more representation before we need Pokopia. But I was on the fence. Even if it was digital, there was a chance I might have checked it out. Now that it's on the fence about being a key card. And I say on the fence because, again, they didn't officially like say that it is. They showed sample artworks on a key card and on a box art. So slightest possibility that it won't be. And from what I've seen, there's supposed to be a trailer for Pokopia released on actually on my anniversary, November 13th. So Thursday, we should have a much more clear answer to, is it actually a key card? Is it a regular physical cartridge? Is it only digital? I don't know, but I don't think they would do this close to that trailer if they weren't like one of two things. Either putting that video out showing the key card art, trying to gauge the overall reaction to that could be the test. It might not actually be a key card. They might have two different artworks ready to go, a key card one and a regular physical cartridge one. And depending on how much backlash they get in a 24 to 48 hour period, they might just pick which one to go with from there. And then maybe they have enough time to manufacture this game and get it sent out everywhere. It's possible. I mean, we're only at the beginning, middle-ish of November, and so you got December, January, February to produce this thing. Technically, I think you could do it. They could also push back the physical release of this if that backlash is strong enough in the 48-hour period before they put that trailer out. Maybe they change their mind and they're like, all right, hold on. Don't make any more key cards. Just do the physical. Because the key card should be really easy to manufacture in a short amount of time, right? You're just making a cartridge with instructions on it to pull a download. Should be the easiest thing in the world to pump out there. And then print out some artwork and slip it in a sleeve, plastic wrap that thing, go. It would be harder to put all of that physical copy together. So I feel like if it turns out to be a physical game and it doesn't release on March 5th, then I'm right in thinking that this was a test. And it's either going to pass or fail depending on how much we complain online. So I will be doing a lot of complaining. I already commented on that specific video with the keycard thing. Put like, no, we're not confused, Nintendo. We absolutely understand what a keycard is. We don't like it, right? I can't think of too many people that do. I know I've had some people in my own comments section talk about it, and I'm sure they'll show up in this video too, and that's fine. It's okay to like a keycard, but know that you are a small fraction of the market, right? Because essentially, with the rise of digital purchases in the last 10 years or so, since all the backlash of Xbox One trying to go all digital and they had to backtrack real quick. So over the last 10 years, digital has become more popular. So it seems more like there's a pretty good even split in the market. There's the physical collectors who we all want the full physical game on the cartridge. That's why we go out and we buy it. You have the digital collectors who are like, you know what? I am sick of GameStop. I'm sick of the crowds at Walmart. I don't want to go to the store and buy these games anymore. I could just buy it online in the shop, download it, never have to switch out cartridges or discs. There's benefits. I understand the argument for digital. But, I mean, keycard, you're taking the worst parts of both, right? Because if you have to download the entire game anyway, why do you want to put the cartridge in every time you want to play the game? I would rather just pop the game on every time. Like, yeah, okay, you can't sell it anymore, but that's not the goal of buying a game. Make a purchase. It should be for something that you want, and you want to keep it until it stops working. That should be true for most things, but, you know, we're all throwaway now, so I guess it doesn't matter. But for a business perspective, from what Nintendo should be doing, with all the third parties who have been just all on board on that key card train, right? The goal for them should not be make it easier for people to buy used games that they make no money on, right? Like, yeah, you might get a little bit more profit every time you sell a game if you're not putting the whole thing on there and it's just a little cheap little nothing. But you get nothing off the pre-orders or the pre-owned stuff. You get nothing from that. And then when you make most of that market mad that wants full physical games, they're like, I'm not buying this. Cutting down those profits. You're cutting down anything you could possibly make from the retail stores. So I hope we could sell digital, right? Because that's the thing. Key cards, we lose as physical collectors. Digital market, it doesn't affect them either way, right? Because they're going to buy it on the eShop. So they're not really going to help us in this fight for physical cards. That's where we got to stand up and be like, no, we don't want this. This is not the way we want to go. And it's not new. It's not. Since the PS4 and Xbox One era, there have been games on the discs that have not been on the disc and requires a download. It's just Nintendo made them actually explain what they're doing. Put it on the box, real clear, big old banner. Wish they would do that with the code in the box. The little bubble is not enough to know that, hey, there's nothing in here. Should be a big banner across the center that says there's no cartridge, no physical game included. But that's a whole different argument. So this argument is, God, I hope this is a test, and I hope they understand that this is not what their fan base wants. The majority of us wants. Okay? I can understand if the only way a third-party game is going to come to the Switch 2 is on a key card for whatever reason. But now you're talking about Pokemon. Now you're talking about an in-house first-party title, technically, right? There's no reason that they should not have put this thing out there on the cartridge, all complete, because they're buying those cartridges in such massive quantities. It should cost nothing for them. This is not, Pokopia is not a means of, are you actually making money on it, right? Because I believe that the answer is they're making money either way. They really are. And when some of these companies can do full physical games at $50 and still make a profit of some kind, that's not the argument. And you look at the game, you look at what Pokopia is, that is not pushing the limits of what that cartridge can do, and is not requiring super fast download speeds from the cartridge that it just can't put out, like the argument for Star Wars Outlaws. So the only argument left is there might be too many hands in that pot, okay? Because you've got Nintendo that needs their money from it because it's their system, they're publishing it, so Nintendo needs their money. Game Freak and Pokemon Company need their money because it's their IP. Tecmo Koei is making the game. They developed the game, so they have to take their money for it. And then the retail stores still have to have that little bit right off the top just to justify it being on their shelves. The only argument there is that there's too many players at hand pulling money that they can't physically produce that and make profit for everybody. Somebody was going to get nothing at the end of the day. The only thing I have going on thinking that, like, maybe that's why they did it. If it's not a test to see if people will still buy the most popular franchises from Nintendo as a key card, the only argument left is that there's too many people making this game. And if that's the case, certain games you might have to start being concerned if they put that stuff out there, right? Like if Square Enix comes along and they help with an RPG somewhere. And so it's like Nintendo putting out a mix between, I wouldn't say Mario, something that somebody else owns. I don't know. I'm losing losing my mind here. Hold on a second. I mean, really, I think it only applies to Pokemon, but so let's say that a different Pokemon game comes along. It's Square Enix helps with the Pokemon game. Nintendo makes it. That's probably going to be a key card if that's the reason that this is a key card, and it's not, again, a test of what will you buy. So you have to be strong with this, and you have to tell them no, or the very least, buy that digital copy. Don't mess with the key card. Let it sit and rot on those store shelves. Then maybe the retailers might start to fight back too and say, hey, so your key cards, they're just sitting here. We cannot move these things because people don't want them, right? And that argument that, hey, the regular general consumers are just kind of going to come along and buy whatever off the shelf, and that's the people key cards are being marketed to. I don't think those exist anymore. I mean, if that's any part of the market, it's like 3% of the market, right? Because people have been trained because of these things right here, smartphones. People have been trained to buy digital games since mid to late 2000s. They've been trained to just go on the shop, buy the game, and download it. That they just have to go to the store for the hardware, and that's it. So your general consumer that used to just window shop and buy, and that's how they got their games. No, they've been trained by the phones to buy digitally. So they're part of that digital market that has risen up, and it's a thing, and it's fine. It's fine that they exist, but for the rest of us, we don't want the key card, and that's what they're trying to push to us because we're the only ones left going in those stores or ordering online and buying the physical copy because we want to collect it. But there's no point to collect something if it has no inherent value. And as I found discovering Nintendo doesn't even have an answer when you call them up on the helpline, right? I asked about this when I was investigating the Borderlands 4 thing, and that got pushed off because it wasn't done yet. But they pushed it off like the week that it was supposed to release, and realistically, you should have already manufactured that by that point. So that kind of opened the question of, do the key cards just get manufactured at whatever point and then they ship them whenever they know that the download's going to be there, right? Nintendo doesn't know what happens after that software is no longer available to download, or even if somehow you got your hands on it beforehand and the software download doesn't exist. Now, I'm not going to say that nobody at Nintendo doesn't know what happens, but only maybe the higher-ups at Nintendo knows what happens, because the helpline had no idea. Like, that's a really good question. It's like, yeah, it'd be nice if you could answer that for me. I mean, I already know what happens, but I was just curious as if it's an error message, if it just doesn't recognize the card at all anymore. They don't know. And I mean, we're early in on this thing. If it lasts about as long as the Switch 1 did, you're talking 7 to 9 years before you have to start talking about servers being shut down and downloads not being available anymore. But it could happen before that. It could, if a company loses a licensing right or music rights or something, so they can no longer sell the game in the eShop, they'll just take down the download too. And so then it's like, okay, well, if you have the key card, hope you hold on to the download because you're not getting it back. So, yeah, that's why a key card is a problem. Okay? And like, yeah, you can resell it. You can resell it as long as that download exists. But if the servers are gone, the download doesn't exist anymore, all you have is that card that you have to play the downloaded software. And if you don't have the downloaded software, you won't have the game. Just have the card. So, to any of those that want to throw out that argument of, hey, you could turn around and sell it, yeah, for a while, for a few years, sure. Somebody's going to get left with a key card, whether that's GameStop or that's you. Somebody's going to get left with it. But anyway, this is pretty much all I got at the moment as far as that whole argument is concerned. It's just that, God, I hope that that's not real. I hope that that was just an example, a sample, as it says across those pictures of the key card and the box art for Pokopia. But why would they put that out there if it's not real? So we'll find out. Hopefully in 2 days, we'll have an answer to that. And I can come back and we can talk about it. Either like, man, this is going to suck and I'm not going to buy this and you shouldn't either. Or, hey, just kidding. It's physical and just go buy it. We'll find out. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Even if you are supporting key cards, we can talk about that too. I mean, there's only so many arguments you can make back and forth, but I mean, I'll talk about it. We can talk about if you don't like the key cards and you want to complain about it. This is your space. Complain about it. But also find Nintendo places and complain about that there too. The comment section of their videos or posts. If you do not support this, make sure that they know. If you like the video, though, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so we can get closer to 1,000 subscribers, and hit the bell notification button, so that way you can be alerted to all upcoming videos. I do not have a consistent release schedule, so definitely helps to hit that notification button so you know when I put these things out. And that's all I got. So thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.